I have been trying to find the perfect spot to set this camera up. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. So I've been really intrigued lately at doing this clone yourself self-portrait where you have multiples of yourself in the same photo but doing different things. And so I've wanted to do a reintroduce myself post over on my Instagram, and so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to pair the clone yourself self-portrait with my reintroduce myself post over on my Instagram. And so that is what we are going to be creating today, and I'm gonna take you along with me and how I created this photo that you'll see on my Instagram probably next week. So let's get into it. Alright, so first to cover the setup for this clone yourself self-portrait, I have my Olympus M1 Mark II with a 12 to 40 millimeter lens set up here. And what I'm actually going to do for this is I'm going to actually use the Olympus Share app to take the photos. So all I did here was there was a little Wi-Fi button on the screen, so I just clicked that. And then I open the Olympus app and I click on, I think it says remote control, hit join. So this has already been configured to connect to my phone, so this is just a process of reconnecting. But yeah, hit the Wi-Fi share button on your camera and then open the app on your phone and hit remote control, and it's bringing it up right now. So you can see I'm right in front of the camera right there. So I've already positioned the camera and everything, so I've got that set up. And then I also have a bunch of the props that I'm gonna need for this shoot, in that, like I said, it's gonna be for a reintroduce myself post on Instagram. So I reverse engineered the post and that I have all of the props that I need. And this is the couch that I'm just gonna be taking my photos in front of. Alright, so when it came time to taking the photos, I used my phone to get myself into position, and then I had a timer set on the camera, so when I clicked the shutter, I had 12 seconds to recompose myself. I originally wanted to do 5 poses, but due to the size of my living room, I couldn't quite fit 5, so I ended up with 3. And this was actually the 3rd time I attempted because I did a couple wardrobe changes. After I took the photos, I brought them into Lightroom to do some light post-processing. Once they were edited, I lastly brought the photos into an app called Snapseed. You can also use Photoshop and some other apps to create this effect, but Snapseed being free seemed like an easy way for me to create this. All I did was bring a photo in and create a double exposure while increasing the opacity, and I kept doing that until all 3 were added. After that, I saved a copy to my phone. It was really easy to do, but I would be interested in learning how to do this in Photoshop. Alright, so I just finished putting the photo together. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, so I really enjoyed how it turned out. But you saw the behind the scenes of trying to take the photos, and so I had my Olympus camera set up and I was just using the iPhone app to take the photos. And then afterwards, I brought it into Lightroom just to do some light post-processing, and then I exported it to an app on my phone called Snapseed. And I saw that there's a lot of different programs and like apps that you can use to basically create this clone yourself self-portrait, but I was specifically looking for something super simple to do because I didn't want to have to spend upwards of an hour fiddling with Photoshop and trying to create the layers and do the self-portrait. Maybe one day when I'm a little bit more advanced and have more patience and tolerance and time to do it, but I specifically just wanted something really simple to do. So I just used Snapseed. A couple things that I did kind of pick up on as I was taking the photos and I was doing this video is, one, try to have an idea of how you want to pose yourself and any props that you might want to include, because it's just going to make the process faster and easier for you. 2, try to have a bit more of an open space or try it outdoors. So I was trying to do this in my living room, and to be honest, I was getting a little frustrated actually in the setup of it because my living room's pretty small and I was having to move like all of the furniture around and then trying to get myself in the frame, and so I was just getting a little frustrated. And so if you can maybe do it outside, I would definitely recommend maybe taking it outside, which brings me to the topic of it is really sunny outside, so I might go out later today and try it again outside and get some other photos while I'm at whatever location I'm going to go explore. Oh, the other thing is, if you are going to be bringing it into Snapseed, like I said, there are other softwares that you can use to create this effect, this clone yourself, like Photoshop, but it's a lot more like advanced. There's a lot more steps you have to do, but you also have a lot more flexibility with what you want to do with the photo. So in Snapseed, if I was to overlay like a part of myself over top of another clone of myself, it would be really difficult to create that double exposure, to create that overlay in Snapseed, because it would overlap with each other. So if you're doing it in Photoshop, you have a lot more flexibility to do that and it'll look fine. But if you're going to overlap yourself and try to edit it in Snapseed, it's going to be just a lot more difficult. So definitely just consider that. So in this one, I made sure to really make sure that I wasn't overlapping any like of my legs over top other parts of my legs in another photo. So just keep that in mind if you are going to be doing it in Snapseed. And I would like to experiment one day with using Photoshop, and I really think that you should just get creative and go wild with this. So I think if you're a baker at home and you like to bake, then maybe you do like a clone yourself of all of the different stages of baking cookies or a pie or whatever it is that you're making. I also kind of thought that if you are going to be traveling, and I love to travel, and that's kind of one of the things that I hit on with this Instagram post, is that I love to travel. And so you can do like a clone yourself preparing for travel, where maybe one of your clones is packing the suitcase, and then the other clone is packing the camera bag, and then the third clone is packing, I don't know, stuff for your pet, and then your other clone is cleaning the area. So like all of the things that go into like preparing for travel. I think you can have a lot of fun with this clone yourself self-portrait. I think it's just your imagination is basically your limit here. But if you do create a clone yourself self-portrait, please be sure to post it on Instagram and tag Beautifully Wonder, because I would love to see your creativity and what you created. But I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please hit that like button below and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.